Hi, welcome to Challenge JP. My name is Jacek, and today I'm going to show you how to analyze and visualize data in Tableau.
Okay, before you analyze and visualize data in Tableau, you first need to import data that we'll be looking into. So when you open the Tableau screen, you will see a list of different data sources on the left side of the screen. And I'm going to choose the text file as I will be importing a CSV file, but you can see that you can choose other options if you're using a different file type, or if you're using the database. You also have a server options in here. Let's click on the text file. And then I'm going to choose this Germany trade data set CSV file. That's the file that contains a list of countries, activities such as import or export or turnover, and then the value associated with the country and activity. So if I double click on the file, I should see in a few seconds my data set, right? It's coming up now. Yes. So you can see that's our dataset name. So the Germany trade dataset CSV, and then you will see those three columns that I just mentioned. So country, which corresponds to the territory that we're analyzing, activity, again, those would be exports, imports, or total trading value, trade value. And then the euro 000, that's the value of the trade of the activity associated with the country, and 000 indicates that you just have to add 3 zeros to get the full amount. Okay, so that's how you inspect your initial data file. And now to create data visualization, we have to go to our first sheet. So you can click on the sheet 1 tab over here, and then you should see our Tableau workspace. That screen over here, this is where we'll be dropping our data in. If you're familiar with Excel and a pivot table, it's a little bit similar to that. So you'll see that you have a set of columns in here, you have some rows, and in the middle, this is where you would put all the values in. To your left, you will see a list of available fields that you can analyze. Those fields are related to the data set that we just imported. So you will see there was activity, country, also the euro 000 field. Notice that there are some fields that are marked in blue color, and then the other ones are in green. There's a bit more details behind it, but basically for the purpose of what we're doing now, just think of all the blue fields as the descriptive fields, so labels such as country name or activity name, and then you have your greens, those will be your measures, so quantitative fields. You will see there are some additional fields here. There are two fields called latitude and longitude. Those are fields that were generated automatically by Tableau. So basically, whenever Tableau see a field or column that corresponds to a geographical location, like country, it will make some automatic conversion so it knows how to place it on the map. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to visualize our data, Tableau data on a map. To do that, I'm going to drag my country field over here, and I'm going to drop it. So again, it's quite a straightforward process. And then after a few seconds, you should see a map. There you go, it's coming up. There you go. You can see the map of the world. First of all, you can do a bit of a formatting using that icon over here. So let's say if you want to move the map a little bit, you want to realign it, click on one of the icons, and there you go. Just move it to the right a little bit. Okay, we center the map. If you go back to that icon, that menu over here, you'll see there's a few options like you can zoom in into the map, or you can also, if you want to later on select some of the countries or group of countries, there's also options to do that. So right now you see that, okay, we have a map, which is great. And then there's a bunch of dots that basically correspond to our country name from the country column. So that's fine, but it doesn't really tell us anything. So what we want to do, we want to now use our map to actually analyze the trade values between Germany and other countries. So let's say we want to analyze the exports and imports. Now, to give some meaning to this map, I'm going to take the euro field. So that's again the value of the trade. And then I'm going to drop it in that color icon over here, so to the left of the map. And when I do that, you will see that now we have a map with different shades. And the darker the shade of the color, the higher the value of the trade. So for example, you will see China, for instance, it's a dark color. That indicates that this is where we have the highest trade value between Germany and China or any other country that you choose. You'll see that that also applies to United States, and then few of the neighbors of Germany, right? You can again go to that icon over here, and let's say if you want to zoom in a little bit, you can just select the area of the map that you want to zoom in, and then there you go. You see it a little bit closer. So that already gives you your basis for the analysis. One thing that you may notice is that there are some countries, like here, that are missing their value, they are blank. And this is Libya, so we know that you should see some value behind that country. What happens is that if you go to that corner over here, you see there's a 21 unknown locations. So that indicates that there was some mismatch between the original data, so the original country column or country name in the country column, and what Tableau would expect to be able to put this country on the map. So to rectify it, to fix that, I can go to my map menu, and then I will click on edit location, right? Okay, and then once I click on that edit location, you will see a list of countries that do not have the matching locations. Now, you will see if you go through it very quickly, there are some countries that you would expect that to happen. For example, you have countries like countries and territories not specified, so obviously that wouldn't match. But then there's other countries that you would expect to see a map. So let's click on that unrecognized text, and then you will see we can start typing in the name of the country that we would expect the match to happen. And you can see there's American Samoa, Cape Verde. There was one here that actually it doesn't have any equivalent, so we will just skip that. Cocos Island. So you see that as I'm typing in the name that I would expect the other two I would expect to find a match between. You have a list of names that hopefully match. As I mentioned before, the countries and territories not specified, that wouldn't have the match, but then most of the values you should find. Okay, so that completes my exercise of mapping or editing the locations. And as you see, I've managed to match most of the unknown names. So now if I click OK, and I wait a little bit, there you go. You see that Libya now is present on my map. There's Mauritania that was missing, and I know there was Lithuania as well that the name wasn't spelled correctly in the original data set. So there you go. So that's my first map visualization, and you can already start drawing some conclusions, some analysis from this map. For example, as we mentioned before, you would expect a high trading values between China and Germany and US, and then, for example, France and some neighborhood countries. One country that, if you look closely in, you will see that Netherlands actually has very high trading value between trade value between Germany with Germany, but that's something obviously that is worth exploring if you were to look into sort of the data, the detailed data. Okay, so now I want to add my first filter in our data. What we want to do, we want to be able to analyze the trade between Germany and other countries by its activity, by trading activity. So either by import or by export, or the total turnover of all the activities. And to add any of the fields to a filter in Tableau, all you have to do is take the field and then drag it to your filter over here. Okay, so you will see there is the a filter window that where you can select already what activity you want to analyze. Let's for now select all of them and then click OK. Okay, and one more thing that so you see there was a activity field in our filters window. And now what we want to do, we want to right click on that field and then show filter. So you see all the available values, unique values from our activity columns. They should appear on the right side of the screen. And then if I click on that icon over here, what I can do, I can just change the how we want to display this data. So let's say we just want to be able to choose one single value. Okay, so if I click here, you will see that now I have this big value, and then I can select, okay, what I want to analyze. And then let's say if I select imports, pay attention to the shades on the map. You'll see that the shades slightly change, especially if you look, for example, at the US. You will see that what we can see already from this analysis is that Germany exports much more in terms of trade value to the US than it imports. So that gives you already a good basis for a future analysis of Germany's trade. Okay, right. Let's switch that to turnover. What I want to do now is to analyze just the number of countries. So I want to limit my analysis just to a certain number of countries. For example, I want to see what are the top 10 countries trading partners of Germany by turnover. Okay, to do that, I first have to start with setting up a parameter, and then I have to link this parameter to my country filter. Okay, so to set a parameter, let's go to that arrow over here, and then click on Create Parameter, and then you will see your Create Parameter window. I want to give it a name, so I'm going to call it Top N. Okay, and I'm going to change slightly the data type, so integer. Let's say the current value to 5, and then make it into a range with a minimum of 0, maximum of 250, and then the step size of 5. So effectively what we're doing here, we're setting the, we want to be able to select from the range of values between 0 and 250. And as we're selecting those values, we will be able to select those values instead of 5. So if you click OK, you should see our top end parameter appearing here in this corner. And then if you click, right click on the parameter name, and then you click on the show parameter, you should see that parameter appearing on the right side below our filter and the legend. And then you see that if I click on my arrow here, the number in my top end parameter will change. Now, it doesn't do anything at this stage. It's just a nice slider that I can change, that I can specify the value. So what I need to do now, I need to link this value 10 to my filter. And what I want to do, I want to filter the number of countries that will appear on my map. So in our case, we want to show the top 10 countries by a turnover. So to do that, I'll need to click on the country field, and I want to add it to my filter. Okay, and as I'm adding that, you will see that again we have our filter window, and this time I want to click on the top tab, And then I want to select the by field option over here. So at the moment, the way it's set up is it's set up in a way so the filter will show top 10 countries by whatever measure we choose. Now we want to replace this top 10 number with whatever number we have in our parameter in here. So to do that, click on the arrow here and then just choose top n. So again, this 10 will fit into the window over here. So in our case, it will be a top 10 countries. And then we want to use our values, so the euro column and the sum of it to determine the order or the number of countries that we want to see on our map. In other words, we want to show top n countries, whatever the n number is, by the sum of the trait value. Now we're going to click OK. And you should see that our map is going to change. So now it's only showing top 10 countries with the highest turnover. If I change that value to 5, you will see that that will update my map. And the same thing will happen if I change that to, let's say, okay, if I change it to 25 or to 20, it will just add more countries. Okay, so now we want to give our sheet a name. Let's call it map. And now I want to add another sheet with a table. So we want to complement our mapping visualization with a table that will show the breakdown of the countries that we're analyzing and the imports, exports, and the turnover. Okay, so to do that, first we need to add a new sheet. To add a new sheet in Tableau, just go to that icon to the right of your existing sheet, and then you'll see, okay, you have your sheet 2. And again, as I mentioned before, you will see that workspace, which sort of may remind you of pivot table if you ever use pivot table in Excel. And in a similar fashion as when you create a table, we can simply take the fields that we want to analyze, and then we can drag them to our table. So I'm going to drop country field into rows and then activity into columns. Yeah, and you see how that populates the table. And then I'm going to take my your field and then drop it in the middle of the table. So you can see that, okay, now my table shows the countries that we're analyzing with all the corresponding activities. Let's move the turnover to the left. So that's our first column. And then let's sort it by the highest turnover. So I want to see the countries with the highest turnover first. So if I click on that icon over here, that will sort the order in which the countries appear. And again, as we've seen that from in the previous map, you will see that China would be the biggest trading partner. That's followed by Netherlands, United States, and so on and so forth. So again, that gives you some details behind the map itself. And now what we want to do, we want to slightly modify this table so it shows exactly the number of countries that we analyzed in our map. In other words, we want to link the country filter from map to our table sheet over here. So to do that, you can go back to our map sheet, and then I'm going to right click on the country filter, and then I'm going to go to my apply to worksheets section. And you have a few options here, but I'm going to just click on select worksheets. And then I'm going to select sheet 2. So what this will do, it will link the country filter to my table, my new table. Now, if you go to the sheet 2, you will see that now the number of countries that are shown in the table reflect the number of countries that we showed in our map, and that's number 25 because that's the number from this top end parameter that we just used. You can go back to the sheet with the table, right click on the parameter here, and just click on show parameter. So that way you can change that value of the parameter from any of the sheets. Okay, let's give the our new sheet a name as well. So let's call it a table. And now what we want to do, we want to bring everything into one place. So what I want to do, I want to take those two sheets and then combine them into a dashboard. To add a new dashboard in Tableau, you have to go back to the lower part of the screen and then click on the new dashboard icon. Now you will see that at the moment you will see just an empty square. I want to slightly change the formatting so it fits better onto the screen. To change the size of the dashboard, you can go to the size option over here, click on that, and then if you click on that arrow, you can choose generic desktop. Okay, and that's going to adjust the size of the dashboard. Obviously, you can choose other options, so you can just adjust the width and the height in here. So that's great. And then you will see that below that size option, there are a number of sheets that we can use for our dashboard. So to add a new sheet to Tableau dashboard, all you have to do is click on one of the sheets and then drag it to your dashboard over here. Okay, so this is our map. And then if I take the table and drag it here, you will see that now I have a map on the top part of the dashboard and then the table below that. Now the table itself is a little bit squeezed. So what we can do, we can right click on the table and then go to the fit option. And then I'm going to use the option fit width. Okay, and you'll see that table now is fit into the width of the table. A few more formatting changes. I can remove the title from my sheet over here, and then the table. And then we can go to my dashboard option and then just say show title. So I just give the title to the dashboard, right click on the edit title. And then we can set the title of the dashboard here. So let's call it Germany Trade Values by Turnover. And then click OK. Right, and then you can maybe change slightly the order in which we show our filters and parameters, and then drop maybe the legend below our parameter here. And then you will see that we brought everything together. So if I change our parameter here, it will also update our map and our table. If you click on, if you hit F7 or you click on the icon over here, presentation mode, you will see that dashboard in a full screen. So that's good for your presentation. One thing that you can also take advantage of is using table below the map as your filter. So let's imagine that you want to analyze just a few countries from our table and you only want to display those countries on our map. You can do it, in our case, if you go to the window over here, click on that, and then if you click on the icon over here that says use as a filter, you will be able to select any of the countries from this table, and this will override the country filter that we used before and will only display those countries. So for example, if I hold Control and then I just select China, say United States, France, United Kingdom, for instance, you see how that affects the map above. So at the moment, the map and our visualization only show the countries that I've selected in our table, which makes the dashboard even more interactive because now you can actually play with the table, and then you can see how that is linked to other parts of the dashboard.
I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you'd like to learn more about data analytics, follow the links in the description of this video. Or if you have any questions, go to my website www.challengejp.com or leave a comment below. Thank you very much.